What do you think of praise, criticize, praise?
Everybody has done something right.
I hate it. Praise sandwich feels contrived.
Hey, Brett Chittum with CNWR and Business Technicalities, and I'm here with
Jason Slagle, CNWR. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm not sitting right next to you right now.
I know you're up in the Detroit office. I'll be up there tomorrow.
Yeah, we're spending some time up this way and trying to just get a different lay of the land. Brought up Brett and the other Brett, and he's up here meeting, and working out of here.
Yeah,
getting things set up.
I think it's I think that ties good into our topic of discussion today, which is coaching. Right? It's like I've been trying to. And we'll continue to try to pop up there every week or two, right, for a half day, a day, or whatever it is. Tom and I are doing a little bit of recording, so I'm going to talk to him today to try to arrange something we'll record tomorrow while I'm up there, and just trying to put a face in. And, Matt, who most of the people up there report to other than Travis, is in Kentucky, so he's not up much. So in his absence, I'll pop up there and say hi.
Lunch. Absolutely. Oh, there you go. I was thinking, actually, I have a lunch appointment today, but I was sitting there thinking I'm missing Taco Tuesday down there.
Yeah. So have somebody up there, either Travis, Brett, or Kyle, buy lunch.
Yep.
Just expensive.
Absolutely.
So just put it on.
Absolutely.
Put a receipt in.
So yeah, coaching, it's one of those things that, when you gotta, it's not something that you have to actually have to schedule it sometimes, right? You have to schedule something like that. It can be impromptu, but boy, when you try to do it impromptu, it doesn't seem to happen all the time, right?
It can. I think that honestly, one should correct bad behaviors when they see them and when they happen, and don't let them fester, right? So that's where the coaching just in time comes in. I will fully admit that I am sometimes really bad about doing that. I'm relatively conflict adverse. I'm deal with conflict, but it's like I'm not necessarily trying to put myself in a position where I'm causing conflict. So I've been known to just sit on it and let it fester. Can tell you from experience, bad move. Don't do that.
No, it's not. If something's going on, definitely take the time to, oh, look, the sirens. If something's going on, definitely take the time to sit down and have a conversation. I was looking up and, tips for coaching employees. And one of the things I really liked that stuck out to me was be clear about what you expect from your employee. I think expectations is number one. You've got to set them and discuss what expectations are, right?
Yeah, we've been doing a better job about that here, right? It's like most of the positions now have a formalized job description, right? And some of them that are legacy don't, right? But we've been backfilling those that don't. Like on the services side, all of the MSP side of the house, other than project manager, I think at this point have job descriptions, and we have job descriptions for several positions we haven't hired for yet, like service manager, I believe we have one for.
Yes, you do.
But that helps, tell people, hey, this is what's expected of you.
Right. Especially when you're interviewing you have to set that expectation up front. It's just important to do, because if you haven't done that and you haven't clearly defined a role, how can you expect someone to do that role? Really. How about explain the reasons for the expectation? What do you think about that?
That I'm usually pretty good at. It's like, hey, I need you to do this because, and here's the reasons, right? It's like, you and I had it. This is a great spot to bring this up. I poked at you the other day for interrupting me, right?
Like, and you didn't poke at me.
I did.
That, right? I didn't feel poked.
So, I've been, since things have been calming down a little bit with the merger, and next week we should probably do an update video there, right? But since things have been calming down a little bit, I've been trying to be a little more strategic and a little less operational. And so I've been working on some stuff that I'm good at that only I can do, which right now is like I'm not the only one that can do it, but I'm the most experienced that can do it, which is some Roost workflows to handle some of the billing oddities we can talk about next week. And the thing about that is, and a lot of the other work that I do that's like that is it's high concentration work, right? So it's work that, I have definitely some amount of ADHD. And one of the things that comes with ADHD is flow. Right. So it's like I will get into a flow where I'm working on this Roost workflow and literally hours will go by and it feels like minutes. And I'm like kicking butt and making progress on it. And then suddenly
Brett
there's a huddle request from Brett. And then when I don't get it, I ignore it. I decline it. Then there's a call from Brett and I ignore it and I decline it. And then there's a text message that says, call me. So now it's like, oh, well, crap. Like, there must actually be a problem. So I call you and you tell me something you could have sent in a Slack message.
Yeah, I'm just and you know what? Lesson learned on my point, and I think you. I'm gonna be honest. You had a great discussion with you. You brought it up. You explained the why.
Yep.
And I think that's important, and I tried to be really cognizant of that.
You may have swung a little bit in the other direction pendulum wise, but that's fine. We'll find a happy medium over time.
Yeah, the thing is the ability and to make decisions, right? And you have to empower the people that work under you to make those decisions.
Yep.
So,
and that's it, right? It's like a lot of the things you were coming to me for. It's like enough about our burden costs and all the other stuff that goes along with that like we're to the point now that a lot of those decisions regarding pricing, I have confidence in you to make them. And I think I have more confidence in you than maybe you do in yourself at this point in the process. So
it's still new to your systems.
I get it. Yeah. I mean, I'll give you the latitude and then you'll mess it up and then we'll have a discussion over why and then you'll learn from that. But like I wholeheartedly believe, and coaching comes a big part of this, people have to be allowed to make mistakes. And so like if you come to me and if Brett and Travis come to you with every single decision they need to make, then in the end you end up making all of the decisions. And the whole reason you delegate is so you don't have to make all the decisions and you can free your mental brain power up to do other things. And so sometimes they're going to make the wrong decision, and that's okay. Right. That's part of growing. It's part of getting better at it.
Right.
And as long as you so the line there is like, don't make bad decisions that are going to put the company in jeopardy. Those are pretty big decisions that you'd have to mess up. But you'll sell something. Your whole team will at some point sell something that loses money. I mean, actually, most of you I think already have. So we've already gotten through that. But
we're through that, and it's over.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the systems we use, it's actually almost idiot proof to lose money if you're looking in the right places.
Yeah, it is. It some of it comes down to the spot where we'll lose money. Like it's really hard for us to lose money on resale product stuff. As long as you pull the pricing from the right source, we should not break even worst case. We have had instances where somebody pulls 3-year-old pricing out of manage and it's gone up a lot since then. And we don't lose money in that case usually because it's not gone up that much, but we don't make them any money. Where we end up losing is projects like the statement of you YOLO the statement of work, and it ends up being way low. And the instance where I think a couple that's happened is like only putting an hour on a laptop replacement where we have to go on the customer side and do it, stuff like that, right? It's like that takes more than an hour.
Yeah, you got to think of drive time and all that as well. So it's an important thing. I think that goes right into the thing of coach positively.
Yeah.
I never, when you were telling me that, and it was in leadership meeting, it wasn't a bad you did not make it damn you, Brett. No, you explained, you went through what you said today, and for me it was an aha moment going, yeah, you're right, because when I'm interrupted it breaks my train of thought. And getting back into that train of thought is hard to do sometimes.
It is. So coaching positively, what do you think of what I call the shit sandwich? Praise, criticize, praise.
Yeah, I call it the Oreo cookie. Same difference. The shit sandwich. No, it's I totally agree with it because here's the thing. Everybody has done something right
Yeah. I
So
hate it. I'd rather just tell you like, hey, like you're doing this thing wrong, but you are, if this isn't, you're not only doing things wrong, but this particular thing you're doing wrong, right? Like the to me the whole criticize the praise sandwich is I think what people actually call it. The praise sandwich feels
yeah,
contrived, right? It's like, oh, I'm coming up with two positive things so I can deliver this bad news to you. It's like it just unless you innately have the ability to just do that. And so Jacob's karate instructor that's no longer there, but used to be the like lead of karate, he was a master of it. And it didn't seem in like disingenuous from
right.
him when he did it. But like 90% of the time when I've heard people employ that technique, it's like a very forced, fake
Yeah.
positive than the criticism they wanted to actually deliver, and then a very forced fake positive. And
Yeah.
that's like, that doesn't like, people aren't dumb.
Well, I will also say that in an argument for what you just said, you're if you're coaching and ABC always be coaching, right? ABC always be closing, always be coaching. Is your team should really know where they stand at all times, right? With how
Yeah.
you feel about them and what
Yep.
you do. And I think that's just the basic conversations. That's the one-on-ones. That's the
Yeah.
meetings you have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the Oreo cookie shit sandwich thing can probably go by the wayside because it's almost like you're trying to sell me that you think because you're right. I want you to be direct with me. I want someone to say, hey, look, hey Brett, you messed this up and I need you to fix it. And because I
Yeah.
think you get to a resolve sooner than trying to, you know, sugarcoat it.
Yeah. I mean, uh, there's a bunch of other, if you look online, there's some Forbes article I just pulled up here. I could probably share it. It talks about the feedback rap, right? Like, which is
Yes,
like,
yes, yes. I've heard
uh,
that.
right. It's like describe your context, list your observations, express your feelings, explain the value, and offer some suggestions. I think that's more in line with what I like to do. It's right. Like, hey,
Hmm.
like I noticed this because of this. Like, this is what's happening.
Right.
This is why it's bothering me. This is why we need to fix it. Here's some suggestions. And I think that resonates better with me, honestly,
Well,
than like the praise sandwich does.
yeah, because I think criticism without suggestion is just criticism.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it's not positive ever. The suggestive part is the positive part of it and saying,
Yeah.
well, I think you can try this and I think this might work better for you next time.
Yeah. And
That's
I mean,
that's always a great.
I've had a couple times recently when I get frustrated, this all falls by the wayside, right? Like, so I've
Mhm.
yelled at Matt a couple times recently. And I try not to, and we have conversations about it later, but sometimes in the heat of the moment, right? Like it's like, man, you really fucked this up. And it's like, I don't know what else to say about it. And then, that immediately puts somebody on the defensive and, probably isn't the best approach. But
No.
like, I would like to think, and, maybe this is me just being super naive. I would like to think that Matt and I have a good enough relationship that it can withstand a couple of those because he does it back to me.
I totally agree with you on that one. You guys do.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, it's like you're brothers, so it's okay. Yeah, I think he takes it well, you take it well, and you hate each other for a minute, and then you move on, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but that's what happened. See, and I think that's what some people don't understand in leadership. There's these struggles too. It's not just in within
Oh yeah.
employees. In leadership this happens. I mean, we've been in some meetings where we've gotten to a point of contention on things, and it's just
Hmm.
it is what it is. That's what adults do. It's
Yeah.
just how you work through it.
I mean, I don't know. Like, all of us are at some point or another doing something for the first time, right?
Hmm.
So, like, I've never run a company this size before. I mean, crap, I've never run a company before this, right? And so, the thought that somehow I know what I'm doing, and no, I mean, we're all just trying to figure it out as we go along is what I've
Yeah.
determined over time.
And that's not a bad way to do it. I mean, the one thing you do is plan, though. You still plan. You don't just go. I mean, some things you go by. We all have to go by the seat of our pants because it's in
Yeah.
the moment. But most of what we've done has been a planned thought
Yeah,
process. So,
yeah. But it's still, we're making that plan up as we go along, right?
right.
Like, we may, some of it may happen 6 months, a year out,
Hmm.
right? Like 2 years, whatever the case is, but like we're still making it up.
Right. It's and that's truly it. It's you're gonna make it, and it's not that this hasn't been done before, but there are some new ways to think about it, right? And being able to have that aspect. I got to ask you this one: avoid criticizing the employee. So I talked about criticism, but then offering suggestions. That's but totally criticizing the employee. What do you think?
I believe you should offer criticism in private and praise in public,
Yes.
right? Like, so on my team, like when we have a project, I tend to celebrate downstream when we win as a team. And then I tend to try to protect the team. And, it's internally, we'll have a discussion over what happened and who went wrong and how to fix it, right? Like it's not blame so that we can pin it on you. It's internally figuring out where the blame lies so that we can stop it from happening again. But publicly,
Yep.
usually mistakes are my mistake if I can make that happen, right? Like, because in the end, buck stops here. And I believe generally you should criticize in private. Like, avoid criticizing. No, there's always, like, you have to be able to level criticism, right?
Right.
Like, that's like it. This isn't. I do not believe in participation trophies and everyone. Yeah, like,
Everybody
like,
wins.
we're here to, we're a business, right? We're here to move forward and make money so that all of us can get paid, right? It's
Yeah.
uh so there definitely, criticism has to happen at some point or another, but you should try to
Hmm.
avoid doing it publicly.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I use the terminology because being in baseball, you learned as a baseball coach never to say to an umpire "you."
Oh
um,
yeah.
and so I from that analogy, when you're having conversations, is we should look at and how can we be better and what can we do to help and what can and having it's a team concept, right? It
Yep.
really is a team because I can't do what I do without a team and you can't do what you do without a team. It's just that we all work together in conjunction. um, so I think the last two are be specific in your feedback and offer
100%.
encouragement and support. You talked about giving suggestions. You also offer encouragement and support. You just said something while we were talking about that. You think you have more confidence in what I can do pricing wise than I do, and I think I've changed that aspect. I've gained because I know I'm not going to lose money based on the metrics I can see right in front of me. But that was a support encouragement.
Yeah.
And it's about that.
I mean, we yeah, I think that it's important for people to feel like that, more so people value, money and financial incentives for working, but
Mhm.
people want to know that they have a place there. They want to know that, I think generally they're part of a tribe. They want to feel
Mhm.
supported. They want to feel like, you have a vested interest in them growing, and you should do that, right? And is it possible that every person's going to have a career path and is going to move up? No, it's not. Like, I simply don't have enough tier 2 and tier 3 spots on the tech side, right? For
Mhm.
every tier 1 to make that journey, right? At some point or another, they're going to have to either stay there, or maybe eventually we'll grow to there to be one, or they'll move on. Right.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we're not going to train them. It doesn't mean that we're not going to support them, encourage them to get better. Right. And
Right.
try to make them better at what they do.
Nope, totally get it. Totally get it. I think we've gone through all that list I was thinking about.
I think so.
What other thoughts do you have?
And I mean, generally, I strive to be better with these concepts all the
Mhm.
time. Sometimes I do better than others, but I'm human and new to this, and
Mhm.
never thought, if 20 years ago you told me I'd be managing, I mean, I guess now I technically only have 4 direct reports, but if you had told me that I'd be managing essentially 25 people directly or indirectly, I'd have told you you were crazy.
Not
But
gonna happen.
yeah, here it is.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's all a matter of you learn as you go. I think
Yep.
active learning is a big aspect people
Yep.
should take. The moment you stop learning something, I think, is the moment you die.
Yep. I agree.
So
Cool.
that's my final thought.
I have nothing of value to add there.
Well, I guess then we'll call this one a shorter one today, and
It's
we'll
shorter. It's
be
20 minutes.
yeah, it's shorter than the 30 minutes we've done every once in
True.
a while.
True.
All right, man. Well, everyone have a good one. Like and subscribe.
Yep.
Make sure you offer some comments of things you might want to hear about, and we'll talk to you next week.
Next week. See you
All
then.
right.
Later. Bye.
Bye.